All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Scottie Barnes, Siakam, Gary Trent, Achua, Freddie took down the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I know the Lakers have had a devastating season, 29-39, but they did come back there at the end of the game. Still, Toronto's very short-handed. They're just very short-handed. Still no OG Anunoby. Hopefully he is back relatively soon because what's there, like 15 games left in the season? I do want to see OG return in the next week or two max because you got to get that chemistry going. I mean, Toronto's a pretty good chemistry team. But OG Anunoby does so much to help open up the offense. He defensively is a clamp, but Toronto, they've won 4 straight. I can't remember the stat. I think this is like their 7th 3+ win streak of the season. This win actually might put them a game behind Cleveland, but I think with Cleveland's win, it's still a game and a half. So Toronto, they're definitely making noise, and with Brooklyn right behind them, you know, Ben Simmons, that situation still makes absolutely zero sense. But Kevin Durant's enough. And then you have Kyrie playing, you know, in away games. So Toronto needs these victories. You're on the road, and Los Angeles actually has an above 500 record at home. They're 20-16 heading into tonight at home. They're like 9-23 or something like that on the road, which is just abysmal. But nonetheless, a win is a win. And yeah, Scottie Barnes went off, Siakam went off, but really Scottie, I made a video like probably a week ago talking about Scottie Barnes' defense, and I was talking about how he actually could improve. And ever since that video, I mean, last night he had like, 2 steals, 5 blocks, something crazy like that. I mean, this man is a stock king at the moment. Tonight, 21 points, 9-17, another 1 of 2 from downtown. He had 9 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Scottie Barnes has really stepped up in the absence of OG Anunoby, and obviously you have Siakam, who is just Mr. Consistent. I mean, there's a reason he was All-NBA second team just 2 seasons ago. Phenomenal scorer, phenomenal half-court scorer, really solid rebounder, being kind of like their big man. I know you have Achua out there, but, you know, Achua, still needs some time, only in his second year. So Pascal, passing the ball, you know, I know I talk about it a lot, but tonight, 27 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Still, you know, I know Siakam can score. I know he can lead a team, but the passing has been phenomenal. Once again, in the wake of OG Anunoby, things like this are so critical to your team's success, like just picking up the slack when one of your key players, your key starters, a guy who is just such a solid two-way player. It's so nice to see. But welcome back to the channel, man. Let's try and hit 114 likes on today's video. If you guys are new here, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Post Raptors content pretty much every day, along with NBA content every day. I mean, the starters really dominated tonight's game. I feel like it's interesting because, you know, granted, you're playing LA, and, you know, LA at times looks like they don't even want to be out on the court. They did have a really nice 4th quarter run, but I mean, this wasn't like the most pretty game as far as Toronto's concerned. Like I said, outside of your top 5, your starting 5, and maybe, you know, let's throw Chris Boucher in that loop with 13 points off of the bench. There was like nothing off the bench. There's literally nothing off of the bench. Not a single thing. And I got to say, especially against the Lakers, who are a small ball team, I love the idea of playing Precious Achua at the starting big man spot. I mean, Precious actually at the start of the season when they were without Siakam, I mean, he was balling out. And then I think teams start to kind of learn his tendencies a little bit more. But, I mean, he's really starting to get a lot more skill sets. He's finding his bag. He's getting his rebounds. And he actually can help stretch the floor. Tonight he went 0-3 from downtown. But Achua, like in Memphis, in Miami, this was not a 3-point shooter whatsoever. So it's nice to see that he's at least just confident taking the 3 ball. Because you never know in the playoffs, things like that, they really could be useful. Gary Trent Jr. continues to just be hot. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. has been, honestly, one of the more low-key steals in the entire NBA. I mean, I can't believe they traded him. I mean, Norman Powell's a really solid basketball player, but in retrospect, it just makes so much sense going for a younger player, guy with more potential, offensive stud. I mean, this guy can get hot at any moment. And then defensively, Gary Trent has had a phenomenal year. So 28 points for him tonight, 7-19, 3-9 from downtown. But he was Mr. James Harden at the free throw line, got to the free throw line 13 times, converted 11 of them. And yeah, Freddie still, Freddie just recently came back, so he keeps kind of missing some games here and there, but give him some time. Definitely give him some time. It's nice to see at the very least. I mean, 2 of 12 from downtown tonight. Still was able to put up 11 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Kind of something we talked about the other night, where it's like good players, when you're not scoring the basketball, when you're just not scoring efficiently, they do everything else. Freddie's defense, by the way, it's just extremely underrated. But, there's just the fact that he's shooting like 2 of 12. He's taken 12 threes. I mean, that just shows me, he took some deep threes there in the fourth quarter. It shows me he's not like lacking any confidence. I think he's just working himself back into game shape, working himself back into like the flow of things. So, I wouldn't be surprised if next game Freddie goes off, shoots like 6 and 9 from downtown, drops like 30 and 10 or something like that. In fact, I would say there's probably a pretty good chance Freddie in his next basketball game just completely goes berserk on offense. But let's talk about this bench, man. Thaddeus Young did a great job doing everything but scoring. I guess if you're relying on Thaddeus Young to score off of your bench, you have bigger problems. So, 2 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals on a block. Thaddeus is a guy where I really hope the Raptors decide to bring him back. This is a guy who can guard multiple positions. He can play multiple positions. He's a veteran. He fits in seamlessly, fits in perfectly into just any scheme that is flown his way, especially here in Toronto, who's just so good at player development, player progression. I know that is at this point, that's not really, what you're going after, but great mentor, great veteran leadership player to have. But outside of that, Ken Birch, Delano Banton, Armani Brooks, I know none of those guys really played much, but it still makes you think like, damn. There are some games where this bench can't score, so thank goodness for Chris Boucher. Hopefully Malachi and obviously you'll have OG come back into the starting lineup. It'll be interesting. It always is interesting to see who decides to be thrown onto the bench. My guess is it'll be Precious Achiuwa, and then it's gonna be interesting actually to see like a bench consisting of like probably a guard in Delano Banton or Malachi with just like 4 big men. Obviously Nick Nurse isn't really necessarily gonna run it like that. You got Ken Birch gonna get his minutes. Chris Boucher definitely is gonna get his minutes well deservingly. And then Thaddeus Young, clearly he's gonna get his minutes. So, just another nice win for the Raptors tonight, putting them at 38-30. Great away team. They beat some really nice teams on this 4-game winning streak. I think it started off with the Spurs, and then you get a win against Phoenix, who I know they're without Chris Paul, but still Phoenix, #1 seed in the Western Conference for a reason. Took down the Denver Nuggets, who just took down Joel Embiid tonight. He's looking like he could possibly get another MVP, go back-to-back in the MVP. But Denver's a really solid team. And the Lakers, on any given night, Lakers kind of are a team who play up to their competition and play down to their competition. And so it's just such an inconsistent blend. You never really know which Lakers you're going to get. And LeBron tends to have his way, against the Toronto Raptors. So great win for Toronto. Hit the like button. Let's try and hit 114 plus on today's video. Hit the like button or hit the subscribe button if you guys are new here. I'll see you guys later.